It's like we saw it in March 2020 when everything fell, including crypto at the same time. But then crypto massively decoupled.
Hey guys, welcome back to Library of Wealth. Today we have crypto investor Raoul on the future of the market and the massive growth he foresees coming in the next few months. Powell is impressed at the future outlook of Web3 and recommends people look into the future and see the larger picture. His advice harkens back to the fall of the Amazon share price, followed by its substantial rise in 1999. Powell holds firm that it's essential that people truly understand the technology surrounding Web3 because of how many people take for granted the importance of knowledge on how global money operates. Let's listen to this interview with Raoul Pal as he gives his take on the impact of the financial market and what we can expect for the rest of the year. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy what we do here on this channel. Let's get right into the video.
There are periods in time when macro matters more than everything else. Macro is how the world economy works. It's how money comes in and out. And crypto's not separate. People in the crypto market thought they were some amazing unicorn that never gets affected by global macro until they got hit by global macro hard. And they're like, oh yeah, it does all matter. I need to understand how currencies work and how money works and how liquidity works and what central banks do, because it matters. Whether that's a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, which has this very kind of digital sovereign state element to it, or whether it's around a Web3 community or an NFT community, I think is the most powerful business model unlock that we've seen since the start of the internet, and it might even be bigger than that. I've been in the crypto market since 2013, so I've seen it up and down. What you need to do is focus on the big picture. Where is this going? Because what you've got is an exponential adoption of an asset class with an exponential price over time. But everything that's exponential is volatile in nature as well. Just look at the Amazon share price since it IPO'd back in '99, went down 96%, then up, then down, until you get network adoption and the network becomes mature. So if you extrapolate the rate of change of the adoption of Web3, it's the fastest adoption of any technology ever in all human history. It's about twice the speed of the internet, which is why none of us sleep anymore, because it's just relentlessly fast, right? It's crazy how fast this is. So to extrapolate out the 300 million global users now, assuming that network adoption rates slow down over time, because you can't, the earlier phase is the most exponential, we still get to 3 billion users in like 5 years. So, okay, once you know that, and let's say we're wrong. Let's say we're wrong by 75%. It's still 1 billion users. So therefore, don't focus on price. The future price will take care of yourself. If you're focusing on price in building your business now, you're building a weak business. You need to factor in the ability to take these very volatile swings as part of your business model. If you don't, you're going to fail.
Powell believes that it is critical to focus on volatility as an essential strategy in business. Powell estimates that Web3 will encompass at least 3 billion people in the next 5 years. This is the time to focus on the long term and not what's going on in the present. While many people have their eyes on what is going on in the immediate, Powell sees it as a strategic move to zoom out and look at the big picture.
I don't look at my positions and figure out how much I'm up or down every day. I just don't care. But I'm very interested in what the market does. But so you have to, particularly as a founder, is distance yourself from the noise and focus on the big prize. That's why you're building a business. You're not building a business because you want to make money in the next 18 months because crypto goes up. You want the opportunity of the big prize, which is building something big and important, because this is the only opportunity that I've seen where you can build a business that goes from nothing to $10 billion in a year. So keep your eye on that and imagine what that business could be worth in 10 years' time. So this is something that most people misunderstand. There is zero correlation between the equity market and the crypto market over a larger period of time. Put up the chart of Bitcoin and put it against the S&P 500, the Sensex, anything, over 5 years, 10 years, right? There's zero correlation. One is exponential and the other is not. So what you're picking up is the periods when crypto and traditional assets are overwhelmed by the macro, which is to the earlier part of your question. So what is happening on a macro level that is affecting all asset prices in the shorter term? Liquidity is coming out. So what's that saying is the central banks are pulling money out of the markets. So obviously asset prices fall. So we are seeing that moment. It's like we saw it in March 2020 when everything fell, including crypto at the same time. But then crypto massively decoupled. Sure, the NASDAQ went up and the Sensex went up, but crypto exploded. I've explained for a long time in videos that there is a fight that has to happen. The regulators want to stamp down on everything. We're seeing this in India, right? Trying to find a way of regulating. The community wants zero regulation. And the fight is going to be where you meet in the middle. If you truly want mass adoption, you have to accept regulation. If not, you are a dark market on the side that you will be shut out of. So I think regulation net is a good thing. But it's going to be a fight to make sure regulation is not heavy-handed. Right? There is a real problem with DeFi regulation, is the world works on KYC AML regulations. The problem is with DeFi is you can't KYC and AML. Now, they're not just going to say, oh no, fine, forget about it, guys. They're just not going to do that. So we have to accept that this is going to be a compromise with the broader financial system. And it's our job to make sure that it comes on our side of the line and not on their side of the line. And it's going to be exhausting. There's going to be a lot of lawsuits. There's going to be a lot of people having to speak to politicians. There's going to be a lot of education. But we also are going to have to realize we're not going to get it all our own way. And I don't mind that. That's okay. Because if, on the other hand, we get broadly decentralized, trustless networks to transfer value globally on a level playing field with limited cost, that's a bloody big prize. We can't expect to live in a physical nation state and also to live in these digital sovereign states and expect that the state that we live in, where we drive on their roads and use their street lights and their infrastructure and their healthcare, we can't expect them to say, oh, don't worry about it, guys. You just have all your money elsewhere. It's just never going to happen. It's only weak economies worry about capital flight. The dollarization of the world is actually an issue. It's actually an issue for everybody. But that's the world that we live in. Now, it depends what ends up happening. Maybe it's a transition where eventually things get priced in ETH or Bitcoin or whatever it may be, and that becomes a currency in its own right and not dollar denominated per se.
Powell says there will be no escaping some level of regulation with cryptocurrencies. While he believes that the dollarization of the world will possibly slow down the transition to Bitcoin or Ethereum, he says that it will not be possible without regulation. He believes that a compromise will have to be accepted as a means to keep a force of hand by the regulators at bay. He reasons that there will ultimately be a fight for and against the regulation, but in the end, compromise is the best policy. It's the only way to make sure that crypto will not be viewed as a shady concept, but in the end, be adopted on a large scale by the world. What do you guys think about Raoul Pal's opinion on the regulation of cryptocurrencies and the massive impact Web3 will have? Comment down below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Library of Wealth. We'll see you in the next video.